You don't attract toxic relationships because you have low self-worth. You attract them because they feel like home to your nervous system. It's not just confidence, but it's conditioning. And you learn it at such a young age. I wouldn't even call it learning. You absorb it. I just did a TEDx talk in Scotland and I talked about childhood conditioning. And I think it's so important that we all learn when we learn how we view the world and how deeply it really impacts how we view ourselves, how we view love, safety, what these things are to our nervous systems and our bodies. Before all that, if you're new here, hi, my name is Kinsey. This is not my usual setup. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with myself. I took a brief hiatus because my life kind of crashed out for a second, but hey, I'm here, I'm back. What's up? I also want to mention really quickly, if you ever went through a toxic relationship, I just released my very first workbook, Reclaim Your Power. It's amazing. I love it. Highly suggested. It's everything I went through after leaving my abusive relationship and everything I learned on my healing journey, so please check it out. It is on Amazon. I make $4 a book, so it's not like you're sitting here funding me. I truly put my whole heart and soul into it. Also, hopefully by the time this video is out, my next workbook is out. That's on breaking generational cycles. If that's out, I will also link that down below. Other than that, let's get into it. When you're a kid, your brain is like a sponge. Your brain, up until your age about 7, your brain is in what's called theta brainwave state. So you're taking literally everything that you see, experience, know to be normal around you, and you are forming your belief system that you are going to carry with you for the rest of your life until you consciously change that belief system, right? So if you grow up in a home where people are constantly yelling, then as an adult, that's the type of home life that you are going to have normal in your nervous system. And if you desperately want a calm home, you're going to self-sabotage because it's not going to be normal to your nervous system no matter what you do. So for me personally, I desperately wanted a loving, safe relationship, right? I desperately wanted to have this family that was like white picket fence, and I wanted like healthy dynamics and healthy coping skills and everybody to talk and get along and be happy, and that's not the life I grew up with. So that didn't happen. It took a lot of healing. It took a lot of me doing inner work to provide that for my kids, for them to learn that to be normal. And for the first years of their lives, it wasn't normal. So then they had to do healing so that it was normal for them too. And it was my job as their parent to teach them that. And we're still learning it every day. Like they're learning. They're learning healing with me every single day, because it's not just something that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. Like, no, if it's not normal to your nervous system, you can't just consciously say, okay, we're gonna do this now. Just like if you grew up watching your parents fight all the time, like you're going to subconsciously learn, okay, that's how a mom and a dad are together, is they yell at each other and then they love each other, and they yell at each other and then they love each other. So now as an adult, I'm going to find a partner where we yell at each other, then we love each other, then we yell at each other, then we love each other. Do you see what I'm saying? I didn't realize all of this until I left my abusive relationship. Like, I was so deep into this. My relationship was like, to a T, where like my dad was an alcoholic and my partner was an alcoholic. And my mom was a single mom and she had her children's father was in prison, and I was a single mom and my children's father was in prison. And like, you wonder why family cycles are the same. It's not just like DNA that's passed down, although that is a thing. And if you've ever heard of epigenetics, it's fascinating. Truly fascinating. I could do a whole video on just epigenetics, truly. But it's because we see these things at such a young age and we're like, oh, okay, that's what's normal. Oh, okay, this is what it means to feel safe. Yelling, that's safe. Feeling abandoned, that's safe. I got it, okay. Or if you came from a healthy environment, then it's like, oh, okay, mom hugging me and mom comforting me. That's what feels safe. Like, it all depends on how you grew up. It all depends on like what you knew as comfort or lack of comfort, or love or lack of love at that young age. In those crucial years of theta brainwave state, like those years are so important. So your body chooses what it recognizes, not what's healthy. So no matter how much you want to choose what's healthy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's why we choose the same toxic shit again and again. Our nervous systems are like, this is what's familiar. Even like when it comes to things like junk food or overspending or, drinking, making bad choices, it's like, better. You know not to do these things. You know that that's not how it should be. You know that you should be making a better choice, but your nervous system learned at a young age, like, that's what's normal, that's what's familiar, so it's going to keep doing it. Our early wiring tells us familiar equals safe. Our early wiring tells us familiarity and safety are the same thing. The first step in order to heal these things and to change these things is awareness. So start noticing these little things. When are you making these poor choices? When do you notice yourself overspending? That was a big one for me. It was like, I can't really afford DoorDash right now, but like, oh well, the money's there, even though I should save it for my mortgage, but I should save it for rent, but, or like, yeah, this guy's like a loser and I know I see the red flags, but he's giving me attention, so, right? So start noticing when you're making those poor choices, even when you know better, and noticing what else is coming up for you in those times. And pausing and doing the unfamiliar, uncomfortable things. So like, even when you want to overspend, you got food at home, girl. Even when you want to give that person attention because they're giving you attention, don't go for it. Like, come on, don't do it. Right? So do the uncomfortable and unfamiliar thing. Don't go with familiarity, because familiarity leads you to unhealthy places every time. That's why you need to break out of that familiarity space, because familiarity is not the healthy space. And that's how you rewire what feels safe. You can rewire these neural pathways. You can make it so that what's familiar is safe in a healthy way, right? But if you grew up in an unhealthy dynamic, you can't keep doing the same patterns and expecting different results. It's not going to happen. You can't keep saying, okay, well, he feels like home to me. Yeah, that's not a good thing. What was home as a kid? That's not a good thing. You can't keep doing that. For the longest time, I just remember thinking, like, what's wrong with me? I had nice guys try and date me. I went on dates with nice guys, but it was always like, either I got bored or I self-sabotaged without even realizing it until like years later realizing I was self-sabotaging. And there's all of the cliche like, know your worth and you're so much better than that and you don't deserve that. And it's like, yeah, that sounds great, but it's a deep like wiring issue, right? When your nervous system's wired in childhood, it makes it so much more complex to just choose differently. It's not just, oh, I'm going to start choosing different men. Like they, make it seem in the movies like, oh yeah, I'm going to meet Mr. Right. It doesn't work like that. It's deep inner work. And until you do that, you are going to keep making the same mistakes. You're going to keep choosing different men. Mr. Right's not going to come along, or Mrs. Right is not going to come along and just find you. And you're going to be like, oh, finally the person I've been looking for. Unfortunately, the work is inside of you. Your outer world, this is another thing I'll do a whole video on. Your outer reality is based off of what you do inside. So if you want a better life, better work, better financial situations, better friendships, better relationships, you have to do the work inside. Unfortunately, that is how it works. I was constantly anxious. I mean, sick to my stomach anxious. And I was always overthinking and waiting for texts, and then like, okay, how long do I wait to text back? Like all of these things. And when things were calm, it's like, okay, when's something gonna happen? What's gonna happen next? When's the other shoe gonna drop? What's wrong? They're not telling me something, or like something's about to happen, right? And that should have been my sign, but like I didn't understand it at the time, right? And that was before my healing journey. That was naive little me. And it's not that you're choosing these people. It's not that you're choosing toxic people, but your body is gravitating towards what it knows, what it recognizes. But I'll tell you the part that changed everything for me. I didn't break the cycle by choosing better. I had to teach my body what safety felt like, because I never knew. I never knew that. My body was never in a position where I could come out of fight or flight. I could never feel safe. I could never rest. I always had to earn my love. I always had to be on my toes. So you have to be okay being bored. And like for me, that was the hardest part. And it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to be unfamiliar, and you have to be okay with that. And that's for friendships. Toxic friends were something that I had to learn to cut off. Healing isn't just about choosing better people to have in your life, but it's about becoming someone who feels safe in something different. And it's a process, but it's one that will completely change your life. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe. I would love to have you along. I was going through some stuff for a little bit there and wasn't as consistent. I had some health issues. I had some relationship issues. I had some life issues. And I think it was just the universe aligning me to the right path is all that it was, And I feel good at where I'm at now. I left a toxic job. Well, I will have left it when I post this. I'm leaving it tomorrow, so wish me luck on that. I got some help with my health stuff, and I've got all kinds of other stuff happening. Again, please check out my workbooks. I'm so proud, especially my second one. I'm so ungodly proud of it. Like, my whole heart and soul are in these books. So, like, even if you don't buy it, just, like, looking at it, like, I just worked so hard. So please just check it out. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Other than that, I would love to have you along on the journey, and I have like over 330 of you, and that's just incredible. Oh my god. I'm not even trying to I really sat, this is gonna get cheesy for a second, I really sat like the last couple days. I'm doing EMDR therapy, so if it looks like I've been crying, that's why I have so much coming up. But I've been really sitting, and it's like I have zero desire to do anything as far as like have a lot of followers or like have any public anything. My goal is I really want to educate and teach, and like I feel like I've been able to do that mainly on YouTube. Although I have a bigger following on TikTok, YouTube is just where I feel like I can really sit down and teach, and I really love that. So I just thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. So yeah, thank you, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.